The game of basketball is really similar to business. You can work hard, learn all the ins and outs, and put yourself in a really great position to win and succeed. But sometimes, Lady Luck just chooses to shrug her shoulders and close the door for the day. But you know what? Winners never quit, and quitters never win. Despite the loss against the Lakers in play-in tournament game number 1, the Utah Jazz must be praying that somehow Memphis pulls off a miracle on Friday, because the Jazz definitely don't want to face Steph Curry and the Warriors in the first round of the 2021 playoffs. In Wednesday night's game against the Los Angeles Lakers, the Golden State Warriors played excellent basketball for about 43 minutes or so. I'll get to the other 5 minutes later. But for the most part, their defense was stellar. I mean, they held King James, the reigning Finals MVP, to 7 for 17 from the field. In terms of shooting, the Dubs shot well from the perimeter at 44%. Many people thought the Lakers' size with Drummond, LeBron, and AD was going to be an issue, but the rebounding numbers were pretty close at 49 to 46. Moving on to the star player, Steph Curry was sensational. He ended up with 37 points while shooting 6 from 9 from three-point land. Curry played MVP basketball. He showed the complete array of moves that you'd expect, and then some.
Neither are they. Curry, step back three, bang!
Skip Bayless was talking some nonsense when he said Steph would have a dismal game because of the Lakers' defense, and then he even said this.
Here's what's going to happen. I believe your Lakers will win by at least 20 points in this game.
Oh my God, you bad luck.
Huh?
Moving on. Draymond Green was putting on a defensive clinic this game. He pretty much neutralized Anthony Davis when he was guarding the all-star power forward.
Taking Anthony Davis out of the ballgame. Now that's just a smart play.
Anyone wanting to learn how to play defense has to go watch Playoff Dre. Man, Playoff Rondo, Playoff P, or Pandemic P. Everyone's got a playoff nickname these days. The next guy I'm going to talk about definitely needs a better nickname than Mr. Consistent. Andrew Wiggins needs a playoff nickname because the man has been a stone-cold assassin in games that count recently. He was aggressive all night long, slashing, getting to the rim, and just doing whatever he could to put the ball in the basket.
6 on the 24. Wiggins against Caruso. Nice spin move.
This dude is not overrated at all and played like a number 1 pick. Everyone's got to start giving some more respect to his name. On one play in particular, he even made King James look like Pandemic P.
Golden State, the 5th-rated defense in the NBA this year. Oh, and Wiggins with the block of James has to fire it up.
He finished the game with 21 points and was a +1 in the plus-minus column. And I'm glad he's going to be wearing a Warriors uni for a long time. The role players came up huge too. Kevon Looney had more rebounds than Anthony Davis. The guy is one of the most underrated centers in the league. He is a bit undersized at 6'9", but his positioning IQ is incredible. He's always in the right place at the right time. And he's going to play a big part in the Warriors' postseason run this year. Juan Toscano-Anderson showed why he deserved that new contract.
Successful. And you guys called it. LeBron James charged with a foul. And it's going to be his.
The man is fearless. He charges into LeBron James, doesn't back down from Anthony Davis, and has a bit of that Draymond Green effect where he impacts both ends of the court. Jordan Poole was in double digits too. Poole ended the night off with 10 points, but more than that, I liked his aggressiveness of getting to the rim, even if the ball didn't go in.
Jordan Poole, oh, beautiful crossover, tried to jam it.
I wish Gary Payton II would have been substituted for Michael Mulder though. His defensive acumen would have made things much harder for the Lakers to get into their offensive schemes.
One of them will be in
make
there.
it 2 in a row, and there was not a champion crowned.
On top of that, he would have been able to stop Dennis Schroeder from getting to the line so many times in that third quarter. Third quarter. And it wasn't even really the third quarter. It was just the first 4 or 5 minutes of the third quarter that really cost the Warriors the game. Going into the half with a 13-point lead, I thought Coach Kerr really had the Warriors focused. Then they had a relapse when they resumed play after halftime. They committed 5 quick fouls and got themselves quickly into the bonus with about 9 minutes left in the quarter. And that 13-point lead evaporated quicker than a drop of water on a hot sunny day. Turnovers as well. In the first and second quarters, the Warriors only turned the ball over 8 times, but they had 8 turnovers in the third quarter alone. You can credit the Lakers' D, but still, many of those turnovers were just not taking care of the ball. That fourth quarter wasn't much better, as the Dubs had 7 turnovers. And a few of them came late, when the Warriors had a 3-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the ballgame. Still though, despite all that carelessness, the Lakers only won by a prayer shot heaved up by LeBron as the shot clock was winding down.
Awful execution. Realizes that the clock dwindling down, the good chase down by Curry.
A bad shot that went in is what won it for the Lakers. The Lakers really didn't beat the Warriors either. I felt the Warriors sort of beat themselves with all that carelessness. And as long as they take care of the ball, they'll be fine moving forward. And one more thing, I almost forgot to mention. Thank God I don't work for the NBA. Otherwise, I'd get fined like $50,000 or so for saying this. But the referees in this game, I swear, I felt like it was rigged somehow as the game closed out. I really did. I was so angry that I almost flipped my table over, but instead, I took out my iPhone and did a quick Google search on this. What I found was that 2 of the 3 referees must have a personal vendetta against the Warriors or something. I love statistics, and apparently, the Warriors have a god-dang awful record with 2 of these 3 officials. John Goebel, Josh Tiven, and Trey Maddox were the 3-man referee crew for this game, and coincidentally, whenever Goebel and Maddox are officiating Warriors games, the Warriors have a record so bad that if that record stretched into a whole season, they'd be the worst team in NBA history. As per NBA ref stats, whenever Goebel and Maddox are calling Warriors games, the Dubs have gone 1 for 14. Steph Curry and the Warriors have had basically zero luck whenever one of these refs is officiating. But all in all, there were some very, very questionable calls in this game, especially down the stretch, and I'll just leave it at that.
Wiggins, Green, and Curry. And an offensive foul call on Draymond.
Next off, all Steph and the Golden State Warriors have to do is play Warriors basketball and dominate the Memphis Grizzlies. Dillon Brooks' defense on Steph is actually the biggest problem in the game. When they played that last game to close out the regular season, Steph scored the majority of his points when Dillon Brooks wasn't guarding him. And fouling Brooks out was what led to that fourth quarter explosion by Steph that closed out the game. Brooks, or no Brooks though, MVP Steph will show up for Friday, and that'll be that. Andrew Wiggins needs to stay aggressive and just dominate the game, and if he does that, things should be fine. Although, things could even be more fine if Draymond Green neutralizes Jonas Valanciunas. The Warriors should be heavy favorites, and I do expect them to win Friday night's game. Honestly though, I like how the Warriors lost. I'd much rather have them face Utah in the first round than the Phoenix Suns. I feel like the Jazz are really lacking in experience, and on the plus side, Donovan Mitchell might even miss a few games due to that ongoing ankle injury. The Utah Jazz must be praying really hard that somehow the Grizzlies pull off an upset, because this Warriors team ain't no 8 seed. They might even be campaigning for both John Goebel and Trey Maddox to officiate this last play-in tournament game. I'm just kidding. But this 2021 Warriors team, even without Clay, they have defense, offense, and they got championship experience. I mean, I know it was just one game, but they brought the defending champions to the edge of defeat, and that must be scary for the Jazz. Speaking of scary, do you know what the scary truth is for this Warriors team? If not, watch this next video, where I go over something no one's really discussing, and it absolutely baffles me that Steve Kerr is not implementing this. I mean, God, it makes me a bit red even thinking about it. Click this next video, guys. Watch it, and I'll see you on the other side.